Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. We are back in California and boy, it's a gorgeous day here. I wanted to do a little brief video on traveling with your service dog. This was Gigi's first time, and for a first time to have first like an almost 9+ hour flight from Rome and then a layover and then another 4.5 hour flight back to California from Atlanta, it was a long trip. And there were periods of anxiety, I'll be honest. She didn't like takeoff and landings. We did go to Dr. Carmine in Scalea, and he gave us this really good sort of sedative type thing. It's a natural thing, but it works great. It really reduced her anxiety to the point where she was very manageable. She slept a lot, and it was really good. Of course, it's a very short-term solution, and we only did it because it would have been torture for her if we didn't. And actually it started to wear off on the last flight and she had a rough time. So it's in our back pocket. The ultimate goal, of course, is to get her conditioned to things like changes in pressure, vibrations. She hates vibrations, loud noises, low noises, and that kind of thing. So we have some things in mind, maybe a few trips to the bus station and that kind of thing, to do it gradually. She did great though, I have to say. Everybody on the plane loved her. She was wonderful. She was so well behaved. She peed on the pee-pee pad. She ate when she was supposed to. We really worked it out. But I wanted to give you some tips. First of all, people have been asking me about certification for a service dog. Now, I did go to one of those online things and I got the official looking stuff, but I was watching Doggy U, and if you have a dog that you're training or want to train as a service dog, Doggy U is really good. She's fabulous, and she has specific videos on how to train them to stay under your seat, how to train them to do certain things that are very specific to travel. So I'd recommend her. But she says basically all that certification is just not necessary. You don't even need to do that. The nice thing is that it looks official, and if somebody comes out and wants something, you can give it to them. A lot of not knowing in the airports, a lot of people don't understand service dogs. I was amazed at the number of airline employees that came out and tried to pet her, and I'm like, no, please don't. That's another thing. Having people pet your dog is, when you're trying to train them, it just drives me right up the wall. They're very sweet, and of course they want to pet her because she's so beautiful, but and I'm guilty in the past. Before I started training Gigi, I'd be the one all over their dogs. And okay, so note to self: don't pet dogs that look like they're being trained. Always ask permission from the owner if you can pet them, and don't be offended if they say no, because it's very difficult to train a dog not to jump on people when when she's jumping on people and somebody's giving her a lot of love for it. So that's one thing. Another thing: make sure you have a very long layover. I have a friend named Stevie, and she trains dogs for a living, and she gave me some good tips as well. And her tip was, as a service dog, the dog has to be able to help you in some way with your disability. Now, of course, I have the hip thing, and you see me with and without the cane. I don't have a lot of pain, but I do have a lot of stability issues, and especially going up and down in the Centro Storico with the scary stairs and that kind of thing. It can be a little bit of an issue. So she provides stability. She also pulls me up the hill. Thank God for that. In addition, she's trained to go get Pete. If something happens, I go get Pete. She flies off and finds him. So those are the things that are required by law, and you have to have a disability. Mine is obvious. Okay. Now, emotional support animals are not really accepted anymore. I'm not sure how that works with PTSD and stuff like that. That's a whole nother issue. But just as a service dog, these are the things that you want to bear in mind. Now, the airline has specific requirements for service dogs. Number one, they can't be barking excessively. They can't be jumping up on the tray tables. They can't be just out of control. So whatever you got to do to keep your dog under control in the plane is really what I get their most important feature, or the thing that really they're looking at. I didn't get a whole lot of people really caring what my service dog did. It was obvious. I had a cane. I was in a wheelchair coming up, just because it's a lot easier to do that. And then there she was with her service dog patch. So it wasn't any sort of issue whatsoever, and they really went out of their way. In fact, you have special lanes and things like the security line. You have a special security line for a service dog or disabilities and that kind of thing. So that helps a lot as well. So all in all, I would say for the first trip, which was really long, she did really, really well. And we got a lot of help. I have to give mad kudos to Delta. I've been just loving Delta lately. They've been really, really good. And a lot of help with the dog and everything else. So just really a good experience for her first time. I was really freaking out because she's still a puppy and she's Jack Russell and Whippet mix. So you can imagine it. She has her good days and her bad days. Another tip is don't expect your dog to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect. They're in a new situation. They're anxious. Like when we got out of the plane, she was so glad to get out of the plane. She just wanted to bolt, so she was pulling on the leash, and I was like, okay, something to work on. But overall, she did great. I hope this helps you travel with your service dog. We're going to be broadcasting from here. I've got some things set up so I can do Calabria property alerts from here. Exciting! And yeah, just moving onward and upward. We're really happy to be back in California, see our kids and everything else, and we'll be back in Italy before you know it. See you soon, guys.